PinkPantheress is a UK pop artist who has broke out onto the scene in the past few months or so with her, I think, TikTok anthem, Just For Me. I think that was the track that broke out for her and made it into the charts. You know how TikTok is these days. Any song that gets big through there is just gonna explode across all kinds of audiences, mostly young audiences, but you know, people who just want an entertaining, you know, 5 minutes scrolling through TikTok, just having a good time, and they stumble upon a song that's part of a trend, and man, the songs just go huge. No matter how big or small the artist is, it can just completely launch a song into fame in a way that I don't think we've really ever seen before. We didn't even really see it with Vine. We never really saw it with Vine. It never really happened in that kind of way. And TikTok isn't going anywhere anytime soon, although it could, you know, be replaced by something else one day. But while we're in this era at the moment, it's pretty clear that this trend is going to stay with these kinds of songs. Heard a few of the tracks before the album, was pretty interesting because I thought the songs were pretty catchy, relatively sweet on the ears, nothing too extravagant, experimental, or, you know, outlandish or anything. It was just very much straightforward pop tunes that were very short and straight to the point, but they did the job well. And while, you know, PinkPantheress doesn't have the most standout vocals in the world, I think she does what she does well, and it works for the kind of songs that she's making. Does it make for a great listening experience from start to finish? Nah, I wouldn't say so. I feel like there isn't really enough diversity across this album, particularly with the vocals and with how short this album is as well. Some of these tracks just feel like they get completely flattened before they even get going. Lost Valentine's being one of the best examples of this. Way too short, a really catchy little sweet melody going on here. I feel like this could be like 3 or 4 minutes. It does not need to be as short as this. Very Kero Kero Benito-ish, I feel. The breakout single, Just For Me, feels very PC music inspired as well. It sort of feels like a Hannah Diamond song, to be honest. But it is just a little catchy tune. It's playful, it's cartoonish in places, you know, where she's talking about driving in her car and it's like beep, beep. It kind of feels like a pop song made for like a nursery rhyme or something, honestly. Like this could totally appeal to children watching those like YouTube videos where, you know, it's very educational and then every now and then they break into a song. I feel like this song could be on there. The weirdest compliment I may ever give a song, but it just kind of works somehow. There's some cool additions in the tracks, like with Pain, which has the typical understated vocal performance from PinkPantheress. You know, the melody, again, I can't really describe other than using sugary sweet. I could probably say that about every track. But then by the end, it kind of like trips into this little 90s hip-hop rhythm somehow. It's kind of random, but I kind of like it. I say trips into because it does feel like a bit of a trippy kind of fade into it, but also it just kind of comes out of nowhere as well. It just literally falls into it, and I think it kind of works and sounds cool. Barely pops up anywhere else on the album, but I guess when you've only got 19 minutes to spare, you know, you're using 19 minutes for a whole album. I guess there isn't much room to bring in any new things. 19 minutes, bro, that's a Swans song. That's a song by Swans. I think the best tune is, honestly, I Must Apologise though. This track brings in this garage influence, which I really like. Reminds me of like something that Disclosure would do, but they'd collaborate with Aluna George. If you got that collaboration coming together with the typical kind of stuff that both those artists bring, I feel like you'd get this song, but a shorter, snappier version of it. It's such a great tune, and I think this like garage direction would work so well for PinkPantheress going forward, just doing every track like this. I mean, maybe not every track, maybe that'd get boring, but you know what I mean, maybe an EP, although the EP would probably be about 2 minutes long if we're looking at how long the actual album is. The garage influence comes back again with Notice I Cried, and it sounds great, but Jesus Christ, they fuck it up by making the song about a minute and 20 seconds, like Jesus Christ. And the way it fades out too just feels like such a cop-out. I don't know how much time and effort was put into this album, but some of these tracks really feel like they literally just did the bare minimum. and then just left it, because this track should be way longer. It sounds so good, and it just frustrates me that I don't get enough time with it. Perhaps this will satisfy listeners enough, you know, the length won't be too much of an issue. Maybe some people would be happy with it. People feel the same about 100 Gex, who literally do the same thing with their songs, where they don't really go above 2 minutes, and it works quite often. But I think for this style, I don't really see why tracks like this, and a few others on this album, to be honest, couldn't break past at least the 2:30 mark. I just don't really get why they couldn't. I wouldn't personally get bored of them, because for an album that's 19 minutes, I think it all sounds pretty good. So if it was any longer, I can't imagine why I'd be like, oh, it needs to be shorter. Drop it to 13 minutes now. Break It Off just depicts most of the issues that I've mentioned, really. It feels like the foundations of a pop song, but, you know, not really padded out into anything more than just a nice little melody. PinkPantheress has got some potential. I think this album demonstrates and highlights potential. There's some really good tunes on here. Like I say, I Must Apologise is great, but I think there's more room to grow. I mean, she's 20 years old. Like, that's a really young age to start making music, and, you know, to start getting popular in music as well. It's not unheard of, obviously. There's loads of artists that break out bigger in even younger age, but still, in the grander scheme of things, it's a very young age, and I think there's more that she has to offer, more that she can give. And I am looking forward to seeing when she gives us that. I don't think this album is quite there yet. 6.5 out of 10. If you want something casual and, you know, sweet, hooky, catchy, straight to the point, breezy as hell, because, you know, you only need to spend 20 minutes of this, then this is perfect for you. If you like all of the different influences as well that I've mentioned that go alongside with what PinkPantheress is doing too, you know, the PC music stuff, the garage influence too, a bit of, you know, Carico Bonito in places, like, you're definitely going to like this. So yeah, definitely check it out. It is good. 6.5 is a good rating, by the way, so don't worry about that. I do like it. I just think it could be way better, fleshed out more. 30-40 minutes, an album like this would be fine. I don't really see why it couldn't be longer. But even without that, some really good tunes on here, really nice. And yeah, looking forward to seeing where she goes next. So thank you for watching. Do have a good day. Subscribe if you haven't already, please. And goodbye. Goodbye.